Mary had a little lamb.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon.
I have a dream.
Change has come to America.
Believe me. Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randy Rhoads Show.
Turn up your mind.
A quick reminder. Vote. Go to iwillvote.com to find out where and how.
iwillvote.com if you don't know where to vote today. You have time. You should vote. You need to go. It is better to have voted and lose than it is to have not voted and lose. Because if you don't vote and you lose, you will sit there in the middle of the night and say, I was part of the problem. And you would be right. You would be correct, sir. You would be absolutely 100% correct that you didn't even try. I mean, come on. This is like low impact, workout voting. It's really simple, really easy. Anyway, last night, Nancy Pelosi was finally, willing to sit down and discuss what happened to her husband. And it was hair-raising that this is going on in these United States of America. That this is the kind of violence that we see. I mean, what do we have to live through the 60s to process how many people we lost? I swear to God, I think I'll just tell you what, how I feel about the Jesus thing. I believe that Martin Luther King Jr. was either Jesus or imbued with the spirit of the Jesus to the point where he walked like Jesus. Okay? He talked like Jesus. He sacrificed like Jesus. He turned the other cheek like Jesus. He was persecuted like Jesus. And he totally rose to the occasion. Totally. I also think Oprah has that quality of selflessness, of trying to do the greater good, of trying to make people see the best in others, trying to understand what is not understood, trying to expose people to people that might not be exactly like them or people that they've ever come in contact with, in order to take the fear of others and drown it in a bathtub. Not democracy, but the fear of others. Not government, but the fear of others, small enough to drown in a bathtub. And I really believe that if Jesus himself showed up today, you'd kill him. I really believe that. I think the most Christian of the Christian would kill him. They would think he was some brown liberal dude. He was a foreigner. He spoke in Aramaic. What the hell is that? I don't need my ballot written in Aramaic. I don't need signs in Aramaic. Why is this in, a different language? It makes no sense to me. This is America. This is America. You know what I'm saying? And I think you would eschew him. I think you would, tell him to go take a hike. I don't think you'd vote for him. I don't think you'd choose him. I don't think you'd follow him. I don't think you'd want to be in a room with him. And so the idea that, in the 60s, we lost some of the greatest leaders this country has ever seen. Everyone from Martin Luther King Jr. to Malcolm X to Medgar Evers to, JFK to RFK's brother. And now we're seeing this kind of political violence yet again in this country. And it's being committed upon people who are very religious. Nancy Pelosi is a very religious woman, whether you know it or not. Anyway, she finally sat down and discussed how she found out that her husband had been attacked by an intruder at 2:30 in the morning. Okay? It was 2:30 in the morning in LA or in California, in San Francisco. Okay? And she had just gotten to Washington, D.C. that day. So there's a 3-hour time difference. So for her, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Where were you when you got the news?
Well, I was sleeping in Washington, D.C. I had just gotten in the night before from San Francisco. And I hear the doorbell ring and think, it's 5 something. I look up, I see it's 5. They must be the wrong apartment. No, it rings again, and then bang, 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 bang on the door. So I run to the door, and I'm very scared. I see this Capitol Police, and they said, we have to come in to talk to you. And I'm thinking, my children, my grandchildren. I never thought it would be Paul, because, I knew he wouldn't be out and about, shall we say. And so they came in at that time. We didn't even know where he was or what his condition was. We just knew there was an assault on him in our home, and now they were taking him to a hospital, which turned out to be San Francisco General, which is a leading trauma center. Thank God they went there. It wasn't the closest. We have hospitals a few blocks away. It wasn't the closest, but it was the right place to go for that.
He was actually struck in the head with the hammer.
Right on the top, two places, and that's pretty awful. That's pretty awful. But the good news was when he had the operation, and we were blessed by the healthcare professionals at San Francisco General, they told us it had not pierced his brain, which could be deadly or worse.
So the hammer had not actually cracked?
Oh, no, it had cracked, yeah. But, well, what they have to do is they have to take off the skull, reshape it, put it back so it isn't scratch or pierce the brain.
Oh, good God. Oh, good God. Okay. So you get the lay of the land there. Okay. She got all choked up trying to explain it to us. But this is what Trump said later the same night. This was last night. Okay.
Pelosi said, please don't call them animals. They're human beings. I said, no, they're animals. Of course, I think she's an animal, too. You want to know the truth?
Oh, my God.
They'll say, oh, what a horrible thing he said about Nancy. She impeached me twice for nothing.
For nothing? For
nothing.
Extortion
They'll
and
say,
for January 6th.
These people, the fakers back there, they'll say, what a horrible thing. He called Nancy Pelosi an animal. Let me tell you, what she does to this country, or what she did to and the turmoil, and it was all, I used the word yesterday, I shouldn't, my great First Lady got very upset. I said, I will never use the word bullshit again. But what she did to us in this country, and yet we got more done as an administration and a president than just about any president in the history of our country in 4 years.
What did he get done? What did he get done besides a tax cut for the very wealthy?
He built that big wall, remember?
Oh, right. Yeah, a wall that never got built that he promised. The man left, and he was the first president, I think, in the history of the United States who left the presidency with fewer jobs than he came to office with. Unemployment when he left was almost 7%. Okay, it's 3.7% now. Okay, we have more Americans working now than at any point in United States history. We have the increased manufacturing jobs in this country to the largest number in 70 years. What is he, and why do they love when he says bullcrap? I mean, that word just, he cursed. He cussed. Yeah, so did Richard Nixon, okay? And they were both criminals. I just don't understand it. What she did to this country, she passed the largest investment in climate change in the history of this nation, the CHIPS and Science Act, that already you can see that we're going to be able to invest in factories here that make semiconductors and the wafer chips that we now have to get from China. I mean, I swear to God, the guy just talked about China. And me and Xi, we were great friends. I loved him. Xi is the king. Xi is great until the China virus. What? So the guy got over on you? Is that what you're admitting? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're copping to? Is that what you're telling people happened? Oh, my God. And here we are actually putting our money where our mouth is, where he would not. And that's investing in America so that we don't have to depend on China for computer chips, which we do. Crazy.
At RandyRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, The Randy Rhodes Show.
The former President of the United States, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, others have spread stories casting doubt on what happened, fomenting conspiracy theories. What do you have to say to them?
It's really sad for the country. It's really sad for the country that people of that high visibility would separate themselves from the facts and the truth in such a blatant way. It's really sad, and it is traumatizing to those affected by it. They don't care about that, obviously, but it's destructive to the unity that we want to have in our country. But I don't have anything to say to them. I mean, we have nothing. There would be no common ground to have any conversation with them.
You know, that is very statesmanlike, I must say. Her husband's head was literally broken. His skull was cracked to the point where they had to remove his skull, reshape his skull, put his skull back on his 82-year-old head so it wouldn't pierce his brain. It wouldn't have jagged edges that could do damage to his brain. And the conspiracy mongers out there that are looking for eyeballs or clicks or, you know, money, they go out there and they call her an animal. They spread rumors and innuendo about her husband's, loyalty to her, about his sexuality, as if, that's their business or something they should be commenting on, or just for the sake of, ginning up controversy or creating a new conspiracy theory. And her reaction to all of that is, it's sad for the country. I would like to see us have the unity in this country that we used to have. And this is damaging to the unity that this country used to have. Yes, it's traumatizing for me and my family, but that doesn't matter. What matters is it's bad for the country. Wow, that's pretty stunning. That's really big of her. That's amazing, considering you have people who went to Ivy League colleges that stand on stages and call her an animal. Oh my God. Oh my God. Listen, this was Josh Hawley last night.
Got a military that is more interested in pronouns than in winning wars. We've got an FBI that is more interested in treating parents as domestic terrorists.
None of that is true. The FBI is not interested in treating any parent as a domestic terrorist, nor is the military obsessed with pronouns. Not that it matters, okay? It's so bizarre. It's so crazy. And they do it because it gets them clicks, it gets them donations, it gets them money, it gets them attention, it gets them eyeballs, it gets them, they're all a bunch of attention whores, and they're willing to sacrifice the unity of this country in the name of enriching themselves. That is Josh Hawley, for God's sake, the man who ran away like a little girl on January 6th, the man who literally left skid marks running away from the January 6th insurrectionists. That's him talking all tough. Oh, that wasn't last night. That was Friday. Okay. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene last night. I mean, this is crazy.
Here's what you can expect from Republicans.
Oh, okay.
We will be investigating and holding people accountable. There's a lot of traitors and criminals that need to be held accountable.
Project much? This is your 1776 moment. I had nothing to do with January 6th. I was a victim of January 6th. This is your 1776 moment. Honestly, you have a competitor. She has a challenger. His name is Marcus Flowers. He's an awesome guy. He's got, a lot of character. He's got integrity. He's smarter than she is, and he's better looking. Just saying. Unbelievable. Here's Ali Alexander, another insurrectionist.
Here's what I would say to Joe Biden. Any election I don't like is stolen. Oh. Any election where you get 81 million tabulations, not votes, is stolen. It's pretty simple. If I don't like it, it's stolen. If I like it, it's not stolen. If you win, it's stolen.
He's telling you exactly how this is going to play out If I don't like it, it's stolen. If I do like it, it's not stolen. It has nothing to do with the country. It has nothing to do with voters. It has nothing to do with the preference of the people. It has nothing to do with the will of the people. It has nothing to do with democracy. It has to do with me. And my minions, the people who follow me, the people who click on me, the people who listen to me, the people who like me. That's who I can agitate, okay? That's who I can convince that the election was stolen. And if I don't like it, if I don't like the result, I'm going to tell them it's stolen. And they're going to get all up in your face. They're going to get violent. They're going to go to your house. They're going to beat your husband. I'm going to tell you to meet me out back. I'm going to kick the crap out of you, whatever 8th grade thing that I can think of. Okay? Because to them, violence is strength. There is no strength of ideas. There's no strength in a movement. There's no strength in people or people power or the will of the people or the country. All there is violence.
We are going to end crazy Nancy Pelosi's political career once and for all. Right? That's right. Of course, I think she's an animal, too. You want to know the truth. They'll say, oh, what a horrible thing he said about Nancy. She impeached me twice for nothing.
For extortion.
Yes, he's right. They will say that's a horrible thing because it's a dehumanizing thing to say about somebody who is second in line for the presidency and whose husband was just attacked in a break-in attempt where she was the target. So,
politically motivated one.
Yeah, Donald Trump has a very long history of demanding to be treated with some level of humanity while dehumanizing others, and this was no exception, but this was pretty striking given everything that we know that's going on right now.
Well, that's why
Not even...
Sorry, go on.
Well, I was going to say also, if you read the comments from last night, he talked about, and this is something he mentioned when he was in office, about how China deals with drug dealers and talking about fentanyl coming across the border, essentially praising how they have these sham trials for them in hours or less. And it's just remarkable to actually read that and to see him praising that and to see the crowd cheering that.
There is, I think, it's not underappreciated, but I actually think it's something that we need to be very focused on as we head into the next 2 years. And so much about what informs Donald Trump's idea of strength is violence. And
that's right.
And that then informs what he thinks makes a good leader. And that's what you're seeing right there.
Yes. This is 8th grade, 5th grade, 1st grade crap. This is a bully. This is a thug. This is a person who threatens. This is a person who threatens violence. This is a person who cheers violence. Punch him in the face. Take him out on a stretcher. There are good people on both sides. Okay, this is a guy who celebrates violence as a means to an end, as a means to a political end. That is not the American way. That is not who we are. It is not what we stand for. It is not anything that people watch and say, oh, that's okay. Because my side is doing it, or because your side did this, I get to do that. I'm sorry, but this is a nation of law. Law. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.